Hello. For those who may not know me, I'm Mike O'Brien. For my senior project, I've decided to focus on sports podcasting, and the main reason for that is due to a company also known as Barstool Sports. Barstool Sports is responsible for creating the podcast, also known as Pardon My Take. Pardon My Take is a podcast that talks about more than just your typical sports story. The hosts on the show don't have a filter per se in what comes to their minds, and quite frankly, that's what makes them one of the top played sports podcasts. I've tried to base my podcast on the same theme as theirs, having a relaxed approach to whatever sports topic is being discussed, and to not hold back on their personal opinions based on a player, team, or a coach. In other words, I'm a huge fan of someone speaking their mind on the podcast as long as it has a point as it is related to the topic at hand. I have also tried to base my podcast and website just like the Barstool Sports website, featuring both podcasts and blogs. But unfortunately, asking other college students to write a blog for a class they aren't in is a little more difficult than I had expected. So, what is going to differ from my site to theirs is the fact that I'm going to feature sports package stories as well. The first package story that was produced was a story on Tim Tebow and his pursuit to baseball. Blue and orange number 15 jerseys are flying off the shelves. Just a few weeks after saying that he wasn't really interested in Tebow, Mets general manager Sandy Alderson had a sudden change of heart.
There's always an upside to stuff like that because it'll bring in fans, it'll bring in people who have loved them throughout college football and professional football. That'll bring some excitement back to baseball. But I don't think that there's really any point to seeing him play on the Mets.
I'd say it's an upside. New York's the media capital of the world, and he seems like he's been a media figure for years. So it's kind of like a meshing of the two worlds. They love it when they have a big personality like that. So.
For the podcast, I try to usually have one normal host in addition to one other guest to provide a different set of opinions. Not only do we provide our hot takes on said sports topics, but we provide actual news that is going on all around the sports leagues. A baseball sensation named Jose Fernandez ended up passing away recently, and the podcast that we hosted went into further detail as to how special this guy really was. To open up our podcast today on a more serious note, Marlins starting pitcher Jose Fernandez, who is just 24 years old and a sensation in the MLB, has just passed away in a boating accident on the 25th. Very unfortunate to hear. Very promising future. Was the NL Rookie of the Year back in 2013 and was a two-time All-Star in 2013 and this year before unfortunately passing away. We also try to focus on sports topics that usually fly under the radar. A top figure that always comes up in our podcast is shooting guard J.R. Smith. To date is, September 29th, 2016. And J.R. Smith.
Still a free agent. Tough to imagine, huh?
You know what?
One more day in September.
I didn't think we would get here. And you know what? The month is closing out. This guy was expected to sign back with Cleveland and just nothing yet. Today is October 5th, 2016. Shooting guard J.R. Smith is still a free agent. What just came out on ESPN the other day is that he reportedly turned down a 1 year, $11 to $12 million contract. For 1 year, J.R. Smith turned it down. Now, I know there's a rise in the salary cap, which entitles players to make and earn more money. But turning down 1 year, $11 to $12 million? For the setup of the podcast, I video conference people through Skype, and I record the video chat as a whole on an application also known as OBS Recorder. Once getting the recording complete on the OBS Recording app, I then have to convert the audio into an MP4 file, which gives me the opportunity to then edit after it fully buffers. That just about wraps up some information on my sports show. If you would like to check out all previous podcasts and sports package stories, then visit the website featured on the screen at michaelobrien.vidmy.com. If you are interested in featuring on one of the podcasts, email me at o'brienm31@sacredheart.edu.